Welcome to Rate the Audit, where we put misconduct on display, explore police and legal content, protect rights and demand accountability. This episode is brought to us by DJE Media. Be sure to check the link below and subscribe to his channel and give him the credit he deserves. In this episode, Auditor DJE visits Pancras Station in London to carry out a lawful drone flight. He follows all the right steps, makes himself known to security, checks the airspace, and begins filming with complete transparency. But before the drone is even properly airborne, a British transport police officer storms in with attitude, ego, and absolutely no grasp of the law. What follows is a clear abuse of authority, demands for personal details under threat of arrest, despite no offence being committed.
I'll be about half an hour total.
Yeah.
And I'll be gone. I'll come in and tell you when I'm finished.
Oh, go for it, go for it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Just be aware that I might have to come. I'm going to leave it, but if someone else comes and tells me, then I have to come.
If you're told to come and speak to me,
yeah,
you do what you've been told to do.
No problem.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Obviously, don't try and pull the control off me, nothing like that.
I'm not gonna do something.
But I'll be just there.
Yeah, no worries.
All right?
Fine.
Thank you very much, mate. It's lawful.
Right, no.
Go on.
Come here.
Go on.
Walk with me.
Yeah, sure. Where we
Can
going?
you count? Because I don't want to assume that you're not a numerate. Can you count?
Well,
Did you launch it from here?
no,
Where did you launch it from?
over there. I'll walk down to here.
But you're vertically, it was seen above this spot. So,
No, the drone's been up there. Probably where we are now. Oh,
right. Okay. Come
Along
here. Come
there.
Here. Come here.
Go on.
Right.
What are you showing me?
Count. Walk me. 1.
Right.
Count. 2.
What are we counting meters?
Right. I'm going to say
No, I
the
don't
time.
know. Go on.
I told you that your drone use would be considered a privacy issue to the people in that hotel.
I've stayed away from the
I
windows.
checked. It doesn't matter whether you've stayed away from the window.
Of course it
It's got
matters.
a camera that can zoom
I'm
in.
not here to zoom into
I
the
know,
window, my
well,
friend.
I
And
don't
you know
know
that.
what you haven't done.
As the officer arrives, he wastes no time in framing the drone flight as a privacy concern, pointing toward nearby hotel windows and raising the hypothetical risk of intrusion. But his argument rests entirely on what the drone could do, rather than what the auditor is actually doing. The auditor has made a clear effort to avoid filming into private spaces, showing both caution and a strong understanding of where the line is drawn. In UK law, filming from a public place, even using a drone, is not a breach of privacy unless it targets individuals in a way that becomes intrusive or harassing. Simply having a zoom lens isn't enough to make that leap. The officer's concern, while perhaps genuine, is not legally grounded. It confuses the potential for misuse with actual misconduct.
Can I show you if you want? I'll show you the video.
However, I've also checked the details of what you can do
Go on.
with a small drone.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
And you can't go within 50 metres of someone horizontally. There are people
Not
in
true.
that building.
Not true.
Well,
I'll show you the legislation.
I've just looked at the diagram.
Scroll down to the bottom. 250 underground.
Secondly, what did I tell you
Go on.
would happen? Is that this would get called in as a security alert.
Been in there. I've told them.
Stop talking.
They had no issue.
Stop talking and listen to me. Right? What did I tell you would happen? Is that this would get called into police as a security
But it's
alert.
you.
Stop
You're back.
talking and listen.
You need to speak to your
This
boss,
is-
mate.
Right. Stop talking and listen.
No
I
problem.
don't need to be.
Go on. I'll listen
Speak
to you.
to any
I'm going to
boss.
look the research the thing up. You
Right.
talk. Go on.
What I told you
Yep.
is that if you launch a drone in this location,
I'm going to put it back in the bag. One sec.
it's make sure you do.
Cause I'm like-
And if it comes out again, honestly, this time there's no mucking around. I'm just.
For a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Right.
The drone part. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, counter-terrorism unit.
Well, I hope.
Like I told you.
I
would
hope that they know.
happen.
I hope that they know the legislation a bit better.
Right.
Because 250 on an underground drone can go any distance from anywhere.
Okay.
Within reason.
What's especially concerning is the officer's decision to involve the counter-terrorism unit. Let's be clear, there is no suggestion here of terrorist activity, suspicious behaviour, or anything remotely justifying such an escalation. The Terrorism Act 2000, particularly Section 43, requires reasonable suspicion that someone is involved in terrorism, a very high threshold that simply does not apply to a peaceful, lawful drone audit carried out in the open. Calling in counter-terrorism for a drone flight that complies with CAA rules is not just disproportionate, it undermines the credibility of those serious policing units.
You have to be safe.
Yes.
So if I was to hover it over these people,
Yeah.
clearly it's reckless. If I go and fly right up to the windows,
Yeah.
it's a privacy issue.
What's the distance that you can go horizontally?
There's no distance with a sub
50
250.
metres.
There's no distance with a sub 250 gram drone.
Just looked it up.
You're wrong.
With the size of your drone.
You're wrong.
50 metres. I've
You're wrong.
looked it up.
You're wrong.
Anyway, the point is, I said the point I'm making to you
Yep.
is not that this is an issue of the drone regulations. I'm not here to.
But I'm not breaking any laws, my friend. I know you don't like it,
Okay.
but I'm okay to do it.
Right. At the moment, you're not going to leave until I've taken your details under the Police Reform Act, Section 50. You've now got a right to give me the details because you're doing something.
What crime do you suspect me of?
Okay, a breach of the drone regulations and
I haven't breached
committing
it. I can
a
show
breach
if you
of the
want.
peace. Okay, you've caused a security alert to happen at this station that luckily I've been able to keep a lid on. Okay, because of the conversation we had earlier.
The officer demands the auditor's personal details, insisting he's not going anywhere until he complies, citing Section 50 of the Police Reform Act 2002. But here's the legal problem. Section 50 only applies when a person is believed to be engaging in antisocial behaviour, meaning conduct that causes harassment, alarm, or distress to others. That's a specific legal threshold, and filming in a public place, especially when done calmly and within the bounds of drone regulation, doesn't meet it. Not even close. When challenged, the officer claims the suspected offences are a breach of drone regulations and a breach of the peace. But neither justification holds water. First, if there were a genuine breach of CAA regulations, that would be a civil matter, enforceable by the Civil Aviation Authority, not grounds for immediate arrest or a Section 50 demand. Second, breach of the peace is an archaic common law concept that applies when violence is either occurring or imminently threatened. There's absolutely nothing in this encounter to suggest that. Even worse, the officer presents this demand as non-negotiable, saying the auditor won't be allowed to leave. That kind of language amounts to a de facto detention, and without a lawful basis, it could breach Article 5 of the Human Rights Act, which protects the right to liberty.
Had I not been here, or I'd been engaged with something else, that would likely to have escalated to something much bigger, which is the very breach of the peace that I advised you not to do, and yet you've gone ahead and done it. So, for that reason, I'm going to require your details.
Can I just speak to this officer a second?
No. Not leave. If you
I'm not going anywhere, I'm trying to talk to him.
No, if you try to leave, okay, I will arrest you for a breach of the peace, right? You're talking to me, you can talk to him in the moment. Right.
I believe you're overstepping your mark, and I'd like a senior officer to deal with this. I'm not going anywhere, mate. I'm not going to run away.
You are not going anywhere, because if you do, you will be arrested, because I'll consider
I have not committed any offence.
Right.
I am lawful to fly here, my friend. I am lawful to fly here.
Okay, the point, as I'm trying to explain to you,
Yeah,
which you seem to childishly trying to be getting a reaction.
I just want to fly my
For
drone,
your
mate.
social media channel, and I'm not really bothered.
I don't want no
I'm
reaction.
here
I just want to fly my
make
drone.
sure an international railway station, an iconic hotel, and another railway station across the road of national importance are able to carry on operating without pointless and avoidable security alerts.
CAA, yeah.
Right?
Drones under 250 gram, right? No.
Stop!
There's no distance. Right. I have not broken any regulations, so you have no suspicion of a crime. The only thing I'm required to give you is the ID on the drone.
No.
Which links to the registration of the drone.
Of the peace.
The auditor does exactly what a responsible citizen should do. He pulls up the Civil Aviation Authority regulations on his phone and calmly attempts to explain that he is not breaking any laws. He's trying to have a reasoned discussion, backed by official guidance, the very same rules police are supposed to understand and enforce fairly. But the officer refuses to engage. He ignores the facts, dismisses the regulations outright, and doubles down by again shouting, "breach of the peace." A charge that by this point has become a catch-all excuse for a lack of actual legal grounds. And here's where it gets legally dangerous. When an officer is presented with clear evidence that no offence is being committed and refuses to even consider it, their actions begin to slide from ignorance into willful misconduct. Breach of the peace, as established in R. Laporte and Chief Constable of Gloucestershire 2006, requires a real and immediate risk of violence or disturbance. There's none of that here. There's no shouting, no crowd, no agitation, just an auditor calmly operating a drone in line with national guidelines.
You have done something.
I haven't breached the peace.
That-
Flying a drone will not breach the peace, officer.
I told you that it was likely to create a security alert.
But that is not a
I've
crime.
had someone come running into our office going, "There's a guy flying drones. Can you come and check it out from a security point
Yeah, of
view?"
course.
Exactly
Yeah.
what I predicted would happen.
Yeah, but I've
Now,
came
what
in
if-
to tell you what I'm doing.
What if it wasn't me that he came to speak to, and it was another officer who goes, "Oh my God, this could be anything. let's
Generally,
evacuate.
look, I'll be honest with you.
Or he'd gone straight to his manager before coming to us, and they've made that decision.
Okay.
I told you that was a possibility.
I can't stop people
and then-
overreacting.
No.
I've told you. I've told the hotel.
You can.
I've pre-warned everybody.
You can, because I told you that was a likely consequence to your behaviour.
It's unjustified.
And you carried on doing it.
It's unreasonable.
unjustified,
I'm
is
not
it?
committing a crime.
This isn't someone acting covertly or trying to avoid detection. The auditor created no alarm, he gave notice. So if a security alert was raised, it wasn't due to his conduct, but rather a reaction by individuals or staff unfamiliar with the law. That's not a breach of the peace. That's a breakdown in communication on their side, not his. Legally, breach of the peace requires conduct that is likely to cause immediate violence or serious disturbance. That's a high bar, and it has to be linked to the actions of the person being accused. Here, the auditor's actions are calm, transparent, and legally compliant. If his lawful behaviour leads others to overreact, that's not a legal justification to detain or threaten him. It's a training issue for staff and, frankly, the officer himself.
This officer on the end of the phone here is
Yeah.
one of our drone specialists.
Yeah.
He's going to categorically tell you cannot launch that from here. Listen to what he's got to say.
Hello.
And introduce himself. Jobs are good.
Oh, hold on.
In short,
Hello.
Hiya mate, it's PC Green with BTP. Basically, where you're trying to take off from my understanding, now I'm not there, but from my understanding,
Yep.
if you're looking at the maps that I'm looking at, which is drone assist, you are trying to take off within a restricted airspace.
Yeah.
If you're trying to take off in that restricted airspace, you will be committing an offence under the air navigation order.
No, where I am, I'm outside St Pancras, which is only in EGR
That's called
160, specified area.
the Renaissance.
Which is a specified area and shown as a restricted airspace.
No, the specified area is for helicopters only. Drones are allowed in the specified area. The City of London is very close, but I'm not in that zone.
EGR 160 applies specifically to helicopters operating under certain flight conditions, particularly during royal movements or VIP transits. The airspace is managed by NOTAMs and applies at specific altitudes, usually above 1,000 feet. Most drone flights, especially those in the open category, are conducted below 400 feet, well outside the operational envelope of EGR 160. What the auditor is asserting, and rightly so, is that this restricted area does not apply to drones unless there's a specific NOTAM or flight restriction zone in place that says otherwise. There's no indication that such a restriction is active here. In fact, if you check the National Air Traffic Service Drone Assist app or official CAA airspace maps, EGR 160 does not prohibit drone flights by default. It depends entirely on the operational altitude and the nature of the restriction. The auditor clearly understands this and explains it better than the so-called specialist.
Also, have you got insurance, on a separate note, have you got insurance to be flying it for commercial purposes?
I do. I don't think I need to have it, but I do have that, yes.
If you're uploading it to YouTube and there's a potential for monetary gain, you need commercial insurance.
I do have it anyway, I do, yeah.
Can I get your insurance code, please?
Code?
Yep, there should be on your insurance document a code saying that it covers it.
I don't have the details to log in right now, mate. I literally made it yesterday, but the thing is, I don't think I need to provide you that anyway, but I am with that company. If you check them out now...
Under the air navigation order, mate, if I require that you provide me with proof of insurance to fly the drone for commercial purposes whilst you're with that drone and trying to fly it, and it's not got the code on your side of your aircraft with your operator ID number, that drone can be seized.
I do have the code on the drone, yeah. I know I have to provide you that.
Yeah, and it also says under that same navigation order that you are to provide proof of insurance.
I don't need insurance, though, for this drone.
You do, because you're flying it for commercial. YouTube counts as commercial purpose. If you're uploading it to YouTube, it's for a commercial purpose, therefore you require insurance.
Even if the flight is intended for a monetized YouTube video, the auditor is flying under the open category using a drone well under 20 kilograms. Under current UK law in 2025, that type of flight does not legally require insurance, which means there's no obligation to provide an insurance code to the police or anyone else. The so-called drone specialist is applying rules that only apply in higher risk operations, such as flights over crowds, near truly restricted sites, or with heavier drones that fall outside the open category. None of that applies here. This flight is low risk, compliant, and falls squarely within what's permitted without CAA authorization.
Anyway, let me just try and log in. I don't have an issue giving it you, but
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate.
Yeah, he's got an insurance policy from FPV UK, and it says you're now covered by our £5 million public and private liability insurance, which includes commercial drone use. However, you have, as I explained to you, do you understand what a common law breach of the peace is?
Officer,
Do you understand?
flying a drone illegally
No.
is not going to cause a breach of the peace.
Right.
It can't be interpreted as that.
Right. Anything that disrupts the normal, unhindered running of society, okay?
Me standing there is not doing that.
Deliberately, especially when someone knows or ought to have known that would cause a breach, is a breach of the peace. Okay? I've told you specifically, if you fly a drone there, we will have a security alert immediately raised in the station.
Doesn't mean it's reasonable.
And what has happened? It doesn't matter whether you believe it's reasonable.
You guys
or not.
know now that the drone is legal. So anybody that calls you say, we've checked him out, he's all legit.
A breach of the peace, and I've told you the reasons why.
Now that the drone details have been verified, including the insurance code, which the auditor provides purely for the sake of cooperation, the issue should be over. The drone is legal, the flight is lawful, and every regulatory box has been ticked. But instead of standing down, the original officer digs in further, still pushing for personal details and now doubling down on his earlier claim about a potential security alert.
A security alert outside an iconic hotel, an international rail hub, and another key piece of national infrastructure over the road.
It doesn't matter, officer.
It does matter, because if they had... Right, I'm not having this conversation with you again. I'm going to demand your details, and then I'm going to direct you to leave the vicinity of the railway station. If you come back, you will be arrested, all right? But you will be arrested if you do not give me your details so that I can record the...
I've committed no offence.
You've committed a breach of the peace. Are you going to give me your details, or am I going to arrest you? This isn't a thing I'm doing.
I think you should call your boss before you arrest me.
No, I'm going to.
Just before you do.
I've advised you not to do something because
It would be an unlawful arrest.
No, it wouldn't, because I gave you the opportunity not to take the action. You've chosen to do it, knowing that it would be regarded as a breach of the peace.
1 second, I'll show you.
Are you going to give me your details or not? Section 50, Police Reform Act. If you do not give me your details, I am going to immediately arrest you. Are you going to give me your details now?
I haven't denied it, have I? I haven't said I won't.
Give me your details now.
Legally, this is completely unjustified. The officer has failed to establish any lawful basis for demanding personal details. Section 50 of the Police Reform Act, the go-to power for requiring someone's name and address, only applies when someone is reasonably believed to be engaging in antisocial behavior that causes harassment, alarm, or distress. That threshold hasn't been met at any stage in this encounter, and by now, it's crystal clear that the auditor hasn't committed any offence. The threat of arrest under these circumstances is not only a misuse of police powers, it potentially breaches the auditor's rights under Article 5 of the Human Rights Act, which protects against unlawful detention. Threatening someone with arrest for refusing to provide details when there is no reasonable suspicion is a serious overstep, and it exposes the officer and the force to potential legal liability.
Under threat of arrest,
Right.
I'll give you the details.
Right, surname, please.
Surname? Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes, absolutely positive. Yeah, I have no choice. You've committed an offence, I have to take your details.
But I'm going to go and commit that same offence now, aren't I?
No, you're not. I explained this to you. First name.
Daniel. And as I said, before I give you the date of birth, are you 100% sure? Because I will 110% HNK it later.
Right.
With this whole video.
As you've committed a criminal offence...
Please don't.
I have to do appropriate checks.
You know
the
I
quickest
haven't.
way... Okay. If
I
you don't
haven't.
wanna-
No, I said,
if
you know I haven't
Do you know
committed
what?
an offence. You know I haven't, because I'm
I've
about to do it now.
informed you that you have. So, no, you're going to do something different now. Like I said,
Okay. What do you need?
circumstances.
Look, I'm not going to be arrested.
What's your name?
I'll give you the name.
What's your... Any middle names?
No.
Have you got a police record that we can check this against?
I don't need to give you that, do I?
I don't know.
You check.
I need to verify that these are genuine. The quickest way, based on my knowledge of how the system works, okay, is to give me your date of birth. If you don't want to give me that, that's fine.
Whatever I'm required to give by the law that I think you're overstepping, but whatever you demand, I'll give it to you under threat of arrest. What do you need?
I need your name and address, but because you're being really, really cagey about giving it, I require you to give me your date of birth.
I'm not
as
being
well,
cagey.
Because
I'm saying it because I feel
that
like you
is a
don't want to do
way-
it.
That is a way.
I feel like you don't want to overstep the mark, and I feel like
I
you
don't want
want
to
to walk away, and you don't want to have a civil claim. That's what I feel, which is why I've said to you, are you sure?
I want not to arrest someone.
being cagey.
Right. No, but you've been quite
Nothing to
childish.
hide.
Right. Give me your name and date of birth then. If you've got nothing to hide,
I'm not happy that you've
I don't
infringed on my rights.
I don't require you to be happy.
Eventually, the officer gets the auditor's details, but only after being repeatedly warned that he's acting outside his authority and risking a civil claim. The auditor remains calm, reminding him that no offence has been committed and the drone has already been verified as legal. Despite that, the officer shows no concern and continues pressing, not out of necessity, but sheer pride. The auditor makes it clear he's going to HNK solicitors, and rightfully so. This wasn't just a misunderstanding, it was a misuse of Section 50, an unjustified threat of arrest, and a likely case of unlawful detention.
Right.
You've done
I've got to be honest, from what you've shown me of your work with the drones, do you know what? That's got a huge artistic merit. You've wasted, today, 2 hours of my time, right?
Have I?
Yeah, because if you just followed my direction, I wouldn't...
Had I followed it though, I would have just not flown at all. I would have walked off.
Well, exactly, and that's what I want.
And now we've agreed that...
You can do it elsewhere, different action. I've agreed.
Still round here, but I'll be over there, right?
Yeah, if you do it here, I will be back and it will be a different story.
Can we just clarify, officer? No, 1 second.
No,
If I'm here...
clarified everything.
No, hold on. So you said, as long as I'm off there at the property, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't want to be... I don't want to have you come back.
Trespassing because they said they don't want you here, so you need to leave this place.
Just to clarify, you're happy for me to do it, but not anywhere on here.
We've explained this to
I
you.
don't want you coming out again, that's all.
You know where the zones are on your map from the CIA.
So as long as I fly legally,
right?
you're okay with it?
Obviously, avoid the area around
cool.
that crane. Do not go on King's Cross Square.
Yep.
Do not go on this forecourt of this hotel because the management of the hotel have said that they don't want that happening. I told you.
You can let the station know now with your authority. You can say I've checked him out.
That's
it's all
why
good.
The circumstances
don't worry about it.
But do not go over. I've given you. I will tell them that I've given you clear directions not to fly over King's Cross Square, not to fly over St Pancras Square. That's kind of the square at the back. You know,
but I lawfully can, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay
you lawfully
out here.
Can't because I'm telling you, if you do it there, we're going to have security alerts, and that interferes with other people's safety and comfort. So you're not lawfully, just because you've got an intrinsic right to do something, okay?
The officer now starts policing feelings, telling the auditor he can't fly the drone again simply because the hotel manager doesn't want it. But personal preference isn't law. The flight has already been verified as legal under CAA rules, and no individual, manager or not, has the power to override that. He then tries to downplay the auditor's position by saying, just because you have an intrinsic right, as if having a right isn't enough. But that's exactly what rights are for, to protect lawful actions from being shut down by discomfort or disapproval.
I've got
security alerts don't trump the law, though.
Shout at the top of my lungs. If I went to 1 inch of your eardrum and shouted at the top of my lungs,
that's a breach of the peace.
You're getting it.
Because I'm a person that's saying you're breaching my peace. Me at 120 metres up there, out of sight of anybody, I'm not doing anything, mate. I saw another drone up there earlier. When I was flying, there was a second drone, by the way.
Was there?
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it may have been you guys.
I haven't given that person a direct warning, so...
I'm just letting you know there was a second drone up there.
And you're not the first person to come and do this, but you're the first person to behave as damn childishly about it. But there you go. I've given you a direct.
All right.
You have a good day.
As the interaction finally ends, the officer walks away having gotten what he wanted, not through lawful policing, but through pressure, threats, and intimidation. Before leaving, he throws out one last jab, calling the auditor childish, a final petty remark that perfectly sums up his approach. Dismissive, unprofessional, and rooted in ego rather than any genuine understanding of the law. This encounter is a textbook case of failed policing. From the very start, the officer approached with an aggressive tone, made baseless legal claims, and ignored every opportunity to de-escalate, even after the auditor made it abundantly clear that he was operating lawfully. The drone flight was within CAA regulations, the airspace wasn't restricted, and the auditor had been transparent with both station security and the hotel, all key facts that the officer repeatedly chose to ignore. Instead, he pushed forward with threats of arrest under Section 50 without any reasonable suspicion of antisocial behaviour, misused breach of the peace as a catch-all justification, and relied on a so-called drone specialist who failed to accurately interpret current drone law. Even after everything was verified, the legality of the flight, the insurance, the airspace, the officer still refused to back down, instead shifting to policing feelings and personal opinions. The auditor warned him, calmly and repeatedly, that he was overstepping. He outlined his rights, presented the law, and stood his ground with composure. But the officer wasn't interested in dialogue or legality, only compliance. The bullying tone, the misuse of authority, and the complete disregard for civil liberties all point to one thing: a power trip disguised as police work. The auditor walked away, having proven his point, and the officer, whether he realizes it or not, walked straight into the kind of civil claim that will hold him to account. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue with my independent coverage. Also, don't forget to check out DJE. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some love. Thanks for watching. This was Rate the Audit, and I'll see you in the next one.